I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time. And it is October 9th already.
Wow.
And, if you're seeing this, obviously we did record this in full transparency. We did record this in 2 weeks in advance. So the subject matter is probably going to be a little bit more general comedy rather than
that's right.
than timeliness, even though laughing at conservatives and evangelicals is a timeless.
It's timeless, exactly. That's right.
And I want to jump right into the first topic, which to me obviously is that we have a woman of color running for president. Whether you want to fixate on her Indian heritage from India or the fact that she's black, or according to Trump, she just became black. She just all of a sudden was black. I think what a bizarre. I think some of it's coming from sexism. I don't think if she was a man, they'd be saying the same thing.
Sure.
But what a bizarre world we live in when a major political candidate is being attacked for becoming black. It just almost, it's a sexist thing, the same way they make fun of the way she laughs and the fact that she's actually a happy, well-adjusted human being, which tells you a lot about them. You know a lot about who your enemy is by how they respond to you.
Sure. Is
it what they're obsessed with, which is race, gender, people's genitalia. GOP just is obsessed with those things. They're obsessed with the difference, even though they say, well, we don't want things to divide us. And I go, yeah, but you spend all your time pointing out what's different. Instead of just saying she's a candidate for president, you spend so much time talking about qualities that don't disqualify her for office.
Sure. So Jenny, can I ask you a question? I don't want to take it completely off topic, but what are your thoughts about what Janet Jackson said? Are you aware of what she had said?
I've not really paid attention to that.
So apparently she played kind of, this is the way I saw it. She's plain dumb. She was asked about Vice President Harris, and she said, well, all I know about her is her dad is white, and she's says she's black, but that's what I've heard. It was almost the exact talking points of like Trump.
Mm-hmm.
She's plain dumb. Like, I don't really follow things. Like, I'm just a stupid, person. But her dad's white. That's what I heard. It's like when you want to try to spread a rumor or do something, but you do the old I don't really follow it type of stuff. Janet Jackson's not a stupid person.
Yeah.
And she's surrounded by very qualified, competent people. So, and they're saying the reason she said that was because she has something against Vice President Harris, because when Vice President Harris was a prosecutor, she made a comment on the Michael Jackson case. Even though she wasn't the prosecutor, she was asked about it, and she basically said, if this is true, he needs to be held accountable and so forth. And she didn't like her ever since then. Yeah. And so she's trying to diss her. She's got like an old grudge. But I thought it was, I don't know what your thoughts were about that, because you would think if anyone would try to not diss her, would be the sister of a guy who everyone said wanted to be white.
Correct. The
So
irony is not wrong.
yes, 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 yes.
But we see colorism and to a lesser extent even sexism in racial minorities. That's a common thing of devaluing women, and really I think it has more to do with her being a woman than it has to do with her race, because we saw them do this with Hillary, where they devalued who they were. Lock her up, crooked Hillary, blah blah blah, blamed her for the things that her husband did, even though she wasn't president. Just wild things. They to make them look like they have flawed character. And it's the same old where, Republicans villainizing people because of who they are, not what they've done, but who they are. They can't falter on a record. Her record's too good. They can't fault the Biden administration on what the Biden administration's done because it's been too good of an administration. They can blame the border on the Biden administration, but then they have to answer for why didn't the Republican House let the border bill even see the light of day? Why did they kill the border bill? And the
Why they didn't
moment
fix it when Trump was president? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and they had 4 years to pass immigration reform. So we can have all these conversations, but theirs is never going to be about policy, because their policies, if they have a policy on it, it sucks. And most of all, he's and as far as Janet Jackson, one of the reasons I'd heard that she had something to say about Harris, but if you want to know the truth, I forgot Janet Jackson was still alive. She's about as
Yeah,
relevant as Frank Sinatra is, and he's been dead
sure.
for 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, truthfully, yeah, she again, Republicans use has-beens and never
Sure.
things like that, and Janet Jackson's definitely a has-been.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to make my voting decision on just like, I don't care that JD Vance is recovering from syphilis, for example. I'd heard that he
Oh,
was recovering from syphilis,
oh,
and I wish him well, and I wish
yeah,
everybody's come in contact with down there
yeah,
also
yeah,
well. Because you can kind of tell, that there may be some issues. We don't know for sure, but the
yeah.
fact that he's recovering from possibly syphilis,
Yeah.
and that Trump's had chronic syphilis for a long time, we don't know, but we've seen the sores on Trump's hands, so obviously
Yeah.
the syphilis is a possibility, but we don't
Yeah,
know that
some
for
say.
sure.
Yeah, some say.
I'd
That's what I
heard,
heard. Yeah,
I'd heard
exactly.
that
Yeah,
they'd had
yeah.
syphilis, whether it was handling golf clubs or handling other kinds of things shaped like golf
That's
clubs.
right. Other kind of
We don't,
clubs. Yeah, that's right.
but we don't really know that for sure.
That's right.
But yeah, it's one of those things that I'd heard that Republicans in Montana were still trying to pass a law. Not for sure, haven't seen it yet, but they're trying to pass a law to marry your sheep,
That's right.
to extend marriage equality. Which hey, to each their
Yeah.
own. But I heard that. I'm not
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I don't have a source on that yet, but I've heard the rumor that
That's
Montana
right.
wants to legalize, Republicans in Montana want to legalize marrying your sheep.
Yeah.
Because they like sheep, and they're
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
Their fur is white. Till they get
Some
sheep.
say. Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
heard that. Yeah.
I heard
Exactly.
that. So I mean, it's got to be true if I heard that.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
it's one of those things that you just have to take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Rumors will be rumors.
Mhm.
I'm is that Trump really is in love with Harris?
Yeah.
Is that he's always been attracted to women of color,
Mhm.
and it's just I've heard that.
Yeah.
And I heard that he was really, really attracted to JD Vance, especially
Mhm.
when JD Vance wears that
Yeah.
sporty dress. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Only when he's dressed as sofa. Loren.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And so
Rumor has it, we've heard. Yeah, yeah,
rumor has it, allegedly.
yeah. Uh-huh.
What did they say you did? And
Exactly.
but hey, it happens, and to each their own. There's no judgment. If they want to marry their sheep, and if they do indeed have syphilis, it's just one of those things. You deal with it and you go
Yep.
on. That's why we want to talk about sex ed and
Mhm.
talk about safety and things like that. And condoms they're an example of why we need condoms.
That's right.
It's important to talk about these things.
Mhm.
And when we hear these rumors, we should talk about them because they want to talk about them. So we should
Yep.
talk about them.
Exactly.
And, just like Lady Graham and Lady Madison Cawthorn,
Yeah.
we want to make sure that when rumors happen, or Mark Robinson, when rumors happen, we want to talk about them.
Yeah.
And we don't care what kind of adult films Mark Robinson watches,
Yeah.
but we like to talk about it.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that he likes
Rumor
certain
has it.
types of adult films.
Yeah. And rumor
Allegedly.
has it. Rumor has it that he secretly fantasizes that he wants to be in one of them
Yeah.
with Katara. What was the one from New York? The
Oh,
congressperson.
Katara.
Katara. Yeah. 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 Rumor has it. We heard.
Yeah, I mean,
Some say.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
Katara has a gig right now, and
Yeah.
other than facing criminal charges for fraud.
Yeah.
So it'd be a great time for Lady Katara, and I'm sure Lady Graham can figure out some time scheduling, and not gay Tim Scott. They could, that'd be one heck of a video.
Who
I'm not
knows?
sure I'd watch it, but you
And
never know.
maybe even an appearance by Ted Cruz. Yeah.
As long as he
It would
doesn't
not.
bring his unattractive wife.
Yes. Well, I would not be surprised. Yeah, I would not be surprised on if we did not crash one of those religious Christian men only retreats on the weekend, and we looked into a tent, and we did not see Tim Scott, Ted Cruz, uh, Mark Robinson probably in there, J.D. Vance in there, and Matt Gaetz acting. I would not. So rumor
No.
has it that that I heard.
Yeah, possibly.
It's possible.
But we know for sure Speaker Johnson wouldn't be there because he has an accountability coach, which is his son, who keeps him from
That's right.
watching homosexual porn.
That's right.
But and all that. But we are up against our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Too Quick and Try. Hey y'all, thanks for watching Coffee and Pandosi, but I wanted to talk about something personal. I have started a company with a business partner of mine called Java Notes Records. And we have an Instagram page, and in our biography, or as the cool kids call it, the bio, we have a link to our Indiegogo page. If you go onto our Instagram or our Facebook, we have a campaign going for Indiegogo, and it's helping us start this company that's going to help so many people between employment, charitable events, things of that nature. We're really doing this for our local community and really trying to help others and create a job for me too. But if you would go to our Instagram page for Java, like Java Notes Records, and I would appreciate the support. Thanks for listening.
All
Bye,
right.
y'all.
So Instagram and Facebook, Java Notes
Records.
Right. Got it. Java Notes Records. All right. Thank you.
Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers and a Tribe on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Happy and we are back. Two can play the rumor game.
That's right.
And, it's one of those weird things where conservatives love urban myths. I remember when I was a kid, if you played Dungeons and Dragons, that you were a Satan worshiper, for example, and they've stirred up rumors about kids being furries in school and they're going in litter boxes. In fact, that rumor started in North Carolina, and I always love how they take urban myths with stuff that absolutely didn't happen.
Sure.
And just create this whole big old intricate conspiracy theory in this lie. And it's just like, first of all, the claim that drug dealers put illicit drugs into Halloween candy.
Mm-hmm.
I've known a few drug dealers in my time.
Yeah.
I don't know any self-respecting drug dealer who would actually use their merchandise and give it away. What's the
just
point
for the
of being
heck of
it? Just what's the point of being a drug dealer if you're giving it away?
Exactly.
Nobody rides for free. I mean, it would make sense if they were charging families and the families were putting the drugs into the kids' candy, and poisoning their own kids. That would be a rumor that would possibly be true, especially in Missouri or Montana, where they don't like that Mexican meth. They want the homegrown meth. But I've never heard of it, nor would I. And I know the people that would use the drugs, they for sure ain't giving it away. You go about finding a good weed guy or a good pill guy. The last thing you're going to do is give that stuff away.
Exactly.
And I think it's so bizarre that somebody selling fentanyl or weed or coke or whatever would actually go through the trouble of what would be the upside of poisoning kids. I mean, because you also are taking away future customers. Like, I mean,
exactly.
I'm talking about market forces dictate that rumor would never be true, for example. And I think some of these urban myths, kind of like supply side economics, Reaganomics, that's definitely an urban myth. If you cut taxes for the wealthy, they're going to hang on to the money.
Yeah.
That this whole lie that they're going to go out and hire a bunch of people. Well, if they're going to hire
down economics people,
if they're going to go hire a bunch of people, wouldn't they just go and hire people and expand their business?
Yes.
So to make more profits and more sales. You don't need to cut taxes to do that. And no billionaire saying, I'd create 5,000 more jobs if you cut 1% more off my taxes. Come on.
Sure. Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
They hire people because they want to increase market share, and they need the employees to increase their market share so they make more sales and more profits.
Yeah.
They're not correlated. One doesn't exist with, one is not dependent on the other. They're not connected. It's not a causational type thing. That's an urban myth. Their entire economic plan is myth. That's why they used to call Reaganomics voodoo economics in the 80s.
Yes.
Anybody with a brain, which is most economists that's actually study the economy, know that high wealth individuals or corporations, whereas they would like to get their taxes cut, because why pay for something if you don't have to? They do realize that they're going to invest. If you're a business owner, you're always going to invest into your business.
Yeah.
So if you're going to invest, you're going to invest. But my tax burden, in fact, investing into employees and equipment is a tax write-off, which makes you pay less anyway. So cutting somebody's taxes arbitrarily
doesn't,
with no give back, with no benefit, the only thing it does is raise taxes on somebody else. Whether it's sales taxes, whether it's tariffs, the money has to come from somewhere.
That's a very good point, Jenny, that you made, and I never thought of it from that perspective. There's absolutely no entrepreneur, small business person, founder of Apple, even Elon Musk. There's no person that I know who's ever gone on camera in an interview and said, I wanted to invent a cure for cancer because I knew I'd make a lot of money, but I didn't because I didn't like the taxes I was going to have to pay.
Yeah.
Or I wanted to start that restaurant, but I didn't because I didn't want to pay those taxes.
Correct.
No one has ever said that.
Now,
I never, I never thought of it that way. You're exactly correct. No one has ever said that.
now, and I mean, my mom, when she bought both the restaurants that she bought and expanded them and all that, she never once was, gosh, that's going to put me in a different tax bracket if I'm successful.
Sure.
So let me not
Yep.
do it.
Yeah.
It's literally the dumbest thing is because their argument is, oh, it creates jobs and spurs growth. I'm going, no, what spurs growth in a capitalist market driven economy is the fact that you get a piece of the pie as an entrepreneur. The whole reason to start a business or become a professional like a doctor or a lawyer, that is you spend money so that you get make money. You spend $150,000 on a law degree so that you can go be an attorney. But you over your lifetime, you're going to make millions of dollars, maybe even tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, depending on what type of attorney you are. And you're going to make a lot more than the people that say, I want to go into food service and start working at McDonald's. And it's all about investing. It's people, taxation does not affect, as far as cutting taxes is concerned. If I charge billionaires only, people that have a 10-figure wealth or above, 2% of their income, they're not going to just all of a sudden go, I'm never creating another job again. They're going to pay the 2% because they're getting to keep the other 98%. If you make an extra $1 billion this year, I'm going to pick the 98% and not worry about the 2%. That's just kind of how it works. Like, I'd rather have 98% of something than 100% of nothing. And that's an old saying in the credit card business when I did consulting on setting up merchants for merchant accounts and things like that. And they complain about the discount fee of 1.6%. I'm saying, you do realize there's a lot of people that only want to pay with a debit card or a credit card through the Visa MasterCard Association. And 98% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
Yeah.
And then went, oh, where do we sign? Because anybody with half a brain would hear that. And if you analyze it, no, it's never going to shut down the economy if we do a billionaire tax or a high wealth tax. That is one of the biggest lies I've ever heard in my life. And it's never happened. The most important thing is, just like increasing the minimum wage has never caused a recession. Why? Because it's a write-off for businesses. If Walmart has to go from paying $8 an hour to $15 an hour, it's not going to bankrupt Walmart.
Yep.
And the truth is that livable wages keep us from having to pay for other services because it's anyway money. We're going to spend the money anyway. It's not, it doesn't change. Like, there's a certain amount of expenditures no matter what. Just like in your household, you're going to buy a certain amount of groceries every week. You're going to do a certain amount of things. You may not take an exotic trip. You may not go to the movies. You may cut out the expenses that you can cut out, the frivolous expenses that are fun. But the basics, all in all, everybody's going to spend that amount of money. And I think it's just funny when people say, oh, this or that hurts the economy. I go, it has nothing to do with the economy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dumb. But then again, the people that believe that usually vote for dumb people. And, we've seen this trend. Dumb people voted for Reagan, but they definitely love Trump. He definitely is, the MTGs of the world. You hear MTG talk. And if you're a rational adult and you lived in her district in Georgia, you wouldn't vote for her.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, when these people vote for somebody like that, you have to look past how stupid they are. Or you have to agree with them. And agreeing with stupid people or ignoring the fact that they're stupid people is the biggest issue. It's like either way, you're being stupid. There isn't any debate on the stupidity. However you want to assign it's up to you. But the fact is, stupid is as stupid does. Like we that's a universal truth, whether we're talking about Forrest Gump or we're talking about, real life, is you can't look at this and go, oh wow, that was really smart. Electing MTG was probably one of the dumbest things Georgia's ever done. Putting somebody like that in office and representing a part of Georgia, I can't imagine voting for somebody like that. I'm not saying every Democrat is smart. I mean, we've got some dumb ones too, but they're not that dumb. Like we don't we don't have Boberts, we don't have MTGs,
Yeah.
we have Matt Gateses, we don't have Trumps. We're the adults in the room. If you look at what's going on in the Democrat Party today, and you look at what's going on in the Republican Party today, you can look at how much smarter we sound, and maybe that's why they're so jealous about our education levels, is that they think we're pompous. I think you're pompous. I would think somebody was pompous too if they were right all the time. I mean, that's what dumb people say. Well, you're so pompous and arrogant because I'm right all the time. Okay, and again, your enemies define themselves by what they say against you. They out themselves, so to speak, and it really is kind of funny. It's funny to watch. Most people don't think of it that way, but I do. I think about what somebody says and what it says about them. And when you're pissed off at drag queens and all kinds of other things, you got some issues. We are up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us, either this show or any of our past shows, on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Queers in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
Hey, thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck. And Christian and I just blathering on about craziness in the world today. Y'all be safe out there. There is a lot of Republicans on the road.
That's right.
Have a good week.
Bye.
And we are back. And I think about all the mangas over the years, and this being the spooky season, the Halloween month. We have to realize just how dumb things are and how Republicans cosplay human beings and cosplay politicians. And you look at somebody like Madison Cawthorn when he was running for office both times. What a clown he was. And you look at a Matt Gaetz that's a clown. And you look at these people and you go, they always try to sound intelligent. They always try to sound like, but with the words that come out of their mouth, like when MTG was talking about indictments and she called it indictments. You go, I just got no help for it. I don't know how to address this. I don't know how Democrats that run for office hold it in, because it would kill me. This is one of the reasons I can't run for office. Because I'd be up on giving a speech, and if I was running against MTG, I'm going, she can't even pronounce indictments. My opponent's so dumb. She's saying that drug dealers are lacing, Halloween candy with fentanyl. Like, just like the mouth breathers when in the 80s that were saying, D&D is part of Satan worship, which
that's crazy. Yeah.
Well, first of all, Satanism and playing a role-playing game, a board game, have nothing to do with each other. But But when you think about their lies and their urban myths and their conspiracy
Yeah,
theories, they all sound really stupid once you listen to them for a little bit and you go, that's really stupid. Like, who eats dogs and cats?
yeah,
Like, they also in the same breath say, well, the U.S. government gives away too much food and feeds too many people. I'm going, so which is it? Are the Haitians getting all
yeah,
this free food and government handouts?
yeah,
Or are they eating their neighbors' cats and dogs?
yeah,
They can't be
exactly.
both.
Yeah,
Like again, pick the struggle. Pick the struggle, man.
yeah,
Like Biden said in 2020 during the debate, we could just shut up, man. Just
exactly.
sometimes you want to look
Yeah,
at MTV and some of these people and go, could you just shut up? Just for a second. I just realize how stupid you sound. We're not getting
yeah,
anything done. Just like Speaker of the House Johnson is a complete obstructionist, and they can't pass a budget, they can't pass this, they can't pass a border bill because it'll upset their cult leader. And you just look at the Republican Party, how dysfunctional they are. You have to laugh a little bit. If it was just a reality show and it really wasn't happening, it would be even funnier.
hmm,
Um, but you see a House of Representatives that hasn't represented anything, in 2 years, ever
yeah.
since they took over. And they got a majority in 2022. They haven't done anything in 2 years that's been effective because that's what they
They can't
did.
even pass a budget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they put together all these little stopgap band-aids, and I'm going, it's a primary function of your job, and they can't even do that. These people aren't functioning adults. Suffice it to say, at this point in time in the MAGA movement, we have to look at them and go, you're not even functioning adults. Almost every government shutdown, in fact, I think it is every government shutdown because of budgetary concerns, has happened at the hand of Republican presidents. And the reason being, the big one when Herbert Walker Bush was president, was what generated the same, which ended up the government shutdown happened for a few weeks in I think it was 92 or 91 or whatever, and caused the bad economy. It was what inspired it's the economy, stupid. And I feel your pain was because of governmental shutdowns in the early 90s. Um, these are self-inflicted wounds. These are things that are really, really stupid. You want to convince people you should keep your job. You got to do your job. You actually got to pass a budget. It happens the same time every year. It has not changed in a long time. You got to pass. They got to pass it by October 1st. It means you have 12 months to figure it out.
yeah,
At the very least, get your crayons out and copy last year's budget and add a couple bucks to it and call it good, which is what they usually do. That's why certain government programs stayed the same, is because they essentially just cut and paste. I mean, if people
yeah,
really knew how they did the budget, is essentially it's called baseline budgeting, which is basically cut and paste. It's literally you click on the mouse, you carry it over here, and you plop it over here. Budget's done. There is no real debate. That's the truth. That's what baseline budgeting is: copying and pasting the previous year and adding a little bit more money to the kitty because things go up in price. That's what baseline budgeting is. We've run on baseline budgeting for decades. So these government shutdowns, they're just performative theater
yeah.
because
Because they
they're
pay
not
because they pay everybody, even during the shutdown, people get paid.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah. So
nothing's getting
it's
paid.
just yeah. So it's we just they just get some time off. So
Yeah, they
yeah,
literally, the only thing that happens is that it does a little damage to the economy because there's a
sure.
temporary cessation of federal employees that don't get paid, certain benefits don't get paid out, et cetera, et cetera. But no, once they sign the budget, which they always have to do, all that gets back. You get the back pay,
Yeah.
so nobody gets they're not saving anything, and the budget's just the same. Like, and all these government shutdowns over budgetary concerns, supposedly, never once have we actually cut the budget.
Yeah.
We've never once in decades spent less than the year before. I don't even think that's happened in modern America. In the last 100 years, we've never had a budget go down.
Mm-hmm.
They spent $100 last year. They spend at least 101 the next year. We literally have never ever had a true budget cut in the history in modern American history. We've always spent at least what we always spend at least what we did last year, this year, minimum. I mean, baseline budgeting guarantees that you spend what you spent last year plus a certain percentage increase. And that's what they argue is the percentage of increase and any new programs they want to add. It's not about cutting anything, which I don't know if we necessarily need to cut anything. I mean, I'd like to see the defense budget go a little bit smaller. But other than that, all of this arguing and all this posturing, which happens in the month of September and supposed to end in September, but usually happens this month every year because we do a temporary spending bill and then we still debate it in October, November because Republicans need something to do. Because they're like bored housewives. They sit around and Lady Graham and Lady Johnson and all these people sit around and they debate, well, we don't have anything to talk about, so let's carry the budget over. I think they're bored. I personally think Republicans must be bored of being stupid. And because they're not smart enough to think about other issues that we may need to decide and actually do, they have to talk about the budget ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Because if they pass a budget, then they can't talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Because God forbid we do it in advance the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Start talking about 2026 now, leading into 2025.
Yeah.
Call me kooky. That's the way business and households run, is we plan in advance. But, Republicans and normal people are not in the same sentence. But it's what we see now, is that these people are so detached from normal and they're so weird. Just fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, and creepy. I mean, the obsession they have over things like Johnson and his son being his masturbation accountability coach.
That is bizarre.
Speaker of the House uses his teenage son as his masturbation accountability coach. First of all, why is it not his wife?
Yes. Yep.
That just creates more questions for me. I'm just like, why'd you pick your son?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of Arkansas chicanery you got going on? Or in his case, Louisiana. Like,
sure.
Or it's again, it goes back to the creepiness. Is like, why would you publicly admit that? First of all, even if I have a masturbation accountability coach, I don't think I'd be letting that little tidbit out. The next thing is, how weird would it be to have that conversation with your son that's a minor?
Yeah.
And by the way, hey, can we have a family talk? I know I'm supposed to talk about the birds and the bees, but I really need to talk about how I can't stop masturbating, and can you hold me? Like, how does that conversation begin?
Yeah, and I need someone to hold me accountable.
Yes.
So I need you to go through all of the stuff that I do and
hold my hand.
If I do catch,
hold my hand so I don't hold something else. Like literally, like when they say you can't climb the ladder to heaven if you got a handful of penis. I'm like, how does the conversation go with your kid where you look at your kid, and I know I've raised 3 kids, and I'm like, I would never look at my kids and go, you need to hold me accountable because I can't stop masturbating. I'd be like, my kids would have looked at me and said, you are fucking creepy and weird. Like, how does that conversation work? Like, even if it was an adult kid, How awkward did that be? Thanksgiving must be really weird in the Johnson house. I mean, past the mashed potatoes, how's
Sure.
not masturbating doing? Like I mean, obviously you're not watching transgender porn with Mark Robinson. But that's all we have for you today, and we will dance on out with the two queers, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo. Yep.
Hey, y'all. We're in spooky season. This is Two Queers in a Trunk, and thank you for listening and sticking with us. But also, get out there and vote. We're right in the middle, or right beginning of early voting season, and you should do it. It's just the right thing to do. A lot of states you can still register even to the day of. But get out there and get registered. Get out there and get voting. And do your nation a favor. Bye, Boo. Have a great week.
Bye, Boo.
Thanks for listening.